Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another ReelQuick episode 59. I am Seth alongside my beautiful co-hosts, as always, Cam, Seth, and Tyler. Today, we have our Patreon-sponsored movie review brought to you by one of our Patreons, or patrons, should I say, Relapse. The movie is The Suicide Squad. Before we get into the review, make sure you check out our Patreon. We have, as we've said in the last couple of episodes, we've revamped our tiers, or maybe not revamped, maybe that's the wrong word, but we've updated a few of our tiers, making it a little more admirable for you guys. So definitely check those out. And of course, we finally dropped all of our merchandise. The response and the reception has been beyond what any of us thought. It's been really positive so far. So thank you to everyone who's supporting us. It really means the absolute world. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We are reviewing James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which is a sequel / soft reboot of the 2016 Suicide Squad. Obviously, not the most well-received movie. Supervillains Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and a collection of nutty cons at Belle Reve Prison join the super secret, super shady Task Force X as they are dropped off at the remote, enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. This is James Gunn. Obviously, everyone's on a little James Gunn high right now, coming off of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So we will do, as we always do, go around, give a very quick spoiler-free review, and then we'll get into a little bit of spoilers. I can't imagine we're gonna really deep dive this movie. It's been out for 2 years now. Everyone's seen it. I think this is a rewatch for myself, Cam, and Tyler. This is a first watch for Mr. Seth's film review. So Seth, I will start with you. I was very excited for you to finally check this off your watch list because I did think you were going to enjoy it, and I'm happy you did. So give us your thoughts, Seth.
Have we heard his score yet?
No.
I saw it. I saw it on Letterboxd, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it. 4 out of 5?
3.5.
This is a spoiler. This is a spoiler. Yeah, so I watched the original Suicide Squad years ago. Didn't hate as much as most people, but definitely didn't like it. I did enjoy this quite a bit. I think that for me, it kind of struggled to find its footing, but when it did, it had James Gunn's unique flair, and I think he excels with that because it's a bizarre and strange film that works in most areas, doesn't work in some. Some areas fell a bit flat for me, and it felt like it didn't really know what direction it wanted to head. But most of it felt fresh, funny, and just incredibly unique. I enjoyed majority of the characters. I think that James Gunn has a knack for allowing comedic timing, and the lines are funny. I think Sylvester Stallone's shark was fucking hilarious, man. He is my Drax. He's the DC Drax. I tweeted it earlier that the scene, some of the scenes he says, just had me dying.
Bird.
When they're all they're discussing the locations on the walkie-talkies, and then he's just bird. That was the first time I heard Drax say Harbulary batteries. I just replayed that shit over and over again because it just made me laugh. And there's little unique moments throughout. There's a lot of I actually really like Peacemaker, for example. I think Margot Robbie is great as Harley Quinn, as she proved, and she had that, we won't go into too much detail, but that escape scene kind of thing, which I thought was great. And I think it has this unique visual flair. Yes, a little bit messy at times. Yes, I don't know I don't think it knows exactly where it needs to go, but it's a weird, fun thing that I did have a good time with. I give it 3.5, which is probably around what I was expecting, considering I gave the original a 2, which is quite low, but again, not crazy low.
Still too high.
I don't mind it.
I think you have it at 2.5, George. I just looked.
Do I? No
way.
You're too high.
No shot.
Yeah, I think it's I knew that I'd enjoy this a little bit more.
No, you have it at 2 as well.
Oh, okay. All right. Still too high. I gotta change that.
And I knew I'd enjoy this more, and I knew that from what you guys have said to watch it, I've had people telling me all the time to watch it, and it seems to be a very cult following movie. I give it a 3.5, which is a good score. My comments are just L. 3.5 is too low. And Tyler, I've seen yours. Yours was exactly the same in your review as well, which is quite funny. But yeah, I did enjoy it.
Mine are the exact opposite. Everyone's L, 4.5, too high.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
people
Yeah,
went in on my review.
people
bro.
are annoyed at me.
I
for
didn't know
my
Tyler
opinion
was at a
of
3.5. I thought he liked this a lot.
He 3.5 is liking it a lot, Cameron.
No, it's not liking a lot. A 3.5 is liking it. Liking it a
No,
lot.
liking it is
like
a 3 for me. Liking it's a 3, then liking lost 3.5. Thinking so it's really good is a 4. Great 4.5. All-time favorite 5. There you go. That's my score. There you go. But yeah, 3.5.
much.
How many times have we argued our rating systems?
Too
on this
many.
fucking
Too
podcast?
many. Too many.
Not enough, I would say.
Cam, since you're
Probably not.
already talking and you're our resident MCU guy, talk to us about this DC movie that you enjoy.
First off, these always drop on a Friday. Happy Fun Drink Friday, everybody. It's Memorial Day for us, but having a nice margarita right now. Happy Fun Drink Friday, ReelTokPodcast.com. Get your shirts right now. I will say, I think this is probably, maybe not the first time ever, but definitely first time ever for a superhero movie. The original 2016 Suicide Squad I'm the lowest on, a 1.5 out of 5. You all are at 2 out of 5.
Wow.
But this one I'm probably the highest on. I believe this is my highest rated DCEU movie, The Suicide Squad, a 91 out of 100 for myself, 4.5 out of 5. I really love this. I like James Gunn's humor. I think he's funny and has the emotional moments. I've said it time and time again. He has never missed on a slow-mo superhero walk. When I first did this release in theaters?
No, straight to HBO Max.
Straight to HBO Max.
Oh.
Okay, so this was. It also had a theater release because I remember this thing like made $0. Like it got nothing. Whereas like Godzilla vs Kong, Dune, other things that also had a theatrical and streaming release still made good money. This thing made nothing, which is unfortunate because, in my opinion, is very good. I just, like I said, I love the humor. I love the emotion. A lot of people are really mad that James Gunn disrespected David Ayer by killing off basically all of his characters from the original in the very first 10 minutes. In my opinion, first off, that David Ayer movie sucked. Probably to his fault some, but not all to his fault. But also
people are pitching release the Ayer cut now on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
I know, man.
Like I just can't
Snyder cut,
imagine.
really.
Yeah.
No, but the problem is if you see, like, he's like adamant, like he's like, my cut's better. Like, and I guarantee you, if he got a chance to release like a Snyder cut, it would be better because he had 8 years to figure out what people hate from his original movie and then change it. But we won't get into that. But he is very adamant. He's like, my director's cut was a lot better. Studio won't let you see it. Whatever. Not to deal with that. But in my opinion, this is the first movie but like compared to the original Suicide Squad, they actually like die, and while it's like the whole group at the start and then not really during the movie, you at least feel that sense that they have a chance to die, like they are in I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is, but they have the potential to die. I'll just stick with that. So I feel like there's a lot of stakes in this. I think the villain is fun, not necessarily great per se, but I think the villain is good enough, especially like Starro, who's obviously not the real villain. And then this movie goes online all the time of like on Twitter of like, oh, James Gunn never makes social commentary in his movies, and that's why it's great. When the entire villain of this movie is like the U.S. government, it just sucks. Like, which is just the funniest thing ever, because you always see those replies that are like, just watch the Suicide Squad, whatever. People love to freak out about that. I love the cast. I think next watch for you, Seth, is Peacemaker, because again, directed like 5 out of 8 episodes, I believe. I don't think you'll watch it, first off, but if you did, I don't think you'd like it as much as this. Yeah, I don't know. It's another James Gunn. Just I could say a million things about it, but it's another James Gunn taking a group of characters that nobody gives a flying fuck about, and then making a really awesome movie for them. But yeah, those are my general thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'll just, because me and Cam are aligned with our views, so bad hosting, but I'll just kind of piggyback off of Cam. I completely agree. I think in James, and I feel like I'm basically reiterating everything I said for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, where I feel like James Gunn just does such a good job at like separating genres when he needs to in these movies. Like the comedy hits where it needs to. When he needs to get emotional, he doesn't ruin it with like, lackluster jokes or lazy jokes. The action is just fucking top tier right from the first scene or the second scene where like the original Suicide Squad goes into the Court of Maltese, all the way to like the final battle. I think the action scenes are just really well choreographed. They're really raw, really dirty, and I really enjoy that. Funny story. This movie came out on HBO Max when I had COVID. So I was like sitting in bed, like dying, just feeling like shit. And I think I watched this movie in 3 days, like 7 or 8 times. I just kept running it back because of how much I fucking loved it. It is just, I think it's really good. It sits at my 3rd ranked DCEU movie behind Zack Snyder's Justice League and Man of Steel. And you guys know how much I obviously love those fucking movies. So I really enjoy the Suicide Squad. I think Idris Elba, John Cena being added to the cast is just incredible. I think they worked off of one each other really well. Like they're kind of like friendly, like I hate you banter. Is just hysterical to watch. And then this isn't a hot take because I see someone tweet it at least once a week. Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn truly is one of the best comic book castings out there. And I feel like it's very rarely spoken about when people mention like Hugh Jackman as Logan, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I really think Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn needs to be in that conversation as one of the best comic book castings out there. And I'm happy she was brought back. I was sad when Boomerang got tossed within like 10 minutes because I do like his character a lot.
He was like the best part of the original.
Yeah, he was easily the best part of the original. And even on the original, like I like Will Smith in the original. I think he played Bloodshot or whatever his name is in the original, like pretty decent Deadshot, pretty decently well. So I'm kind of aligned with Cam. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. It's my 3rd ranked DCU movie, and I've rewatched it a chunk of times. Tyler, we'll kick it over to you. You like the movie. You're a little lower than Cam and I at a 3.5 out of 5. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, so I watched it a year ago, and I'm just looking at over a year ago for the first time, and I'm watching, like, reading back my review, and I started off at saying I wanted to love it a lot more than I did, and then I rewatched it, and ended up going down. So I don't know. I just think I'm just didn't grasp onto this movie the same way everyone else seemed to in the comic book movie universe. I just found it, I don't know. I just didn't, a lot of the comedy didn't hit for me. I thought all the casting was pretty good. Wasn't any like standouts. Like I think Margot Robbie's great, obviously. And after watching Peacemaker, I love John Cena, but I don't think from the Suicide Squad, I was like in love with Peacemaker. I think it was more the show that made me really like him. Like Idris Elba was fine. I think all the stuff with his daughter, like really kind of made me just cringe. Like Storm Reed's like a good actress too, because she was in like Missing this year. She was in that episode with Ellie in The Last of Us, but I don't know. I think maybe this was just like early on or something, because there's those scenes with her in the jail, like with her father, like at the beginning and then the very end. I was just like, this is not my favorite. But yeah, the action was good. I didn't care for the monster, like the Starro or whatever and all that. And the final battle just got like a little ridiculous for me, but that's what James Gunn does. He makes things ridiculous and either you love it or you don't. Guardians of the Galaxy, I managed to love it. This one, I didn't love it as much. For me, it's my least favorite James Gunn movie in terms of like comic book movies. And everyone's in my comments saying like, oh, what about movie 43 or whatever? Which first of all, like, is that even a James Gunn movie? Isn't that directed by like 25 people?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So like, I don't get why he always gets credit.
A comic book movie?
Or well, I think I just said this is like my least favorite Gunn movie, and I meant comic book movie, which I guess in context I thought people would understand if they said movie 43, which some reason always gets pinned on him when it's directed by like 35 different people that he just got like a clip. So I was like, weird that they just give all the hate to him on that. But I don't know, it's like darker in a lot of ways than the Guardians of the Galaxy, not in terms of like the violence, but in terms of like the color palettes, the scenes, the settings. It was always rainy, it was always cloudy, it was always dark. Soundtrack wasn't really anything that was like filled with bangers compared to any of the Guardians movies. So I don't know, just like basically everything that Guardians of the Galaxy did that I loved, just like taken down a couple notches, which is why I land on like a 3.5, whereas the Guardians I'm at like a 4 and 4.5.
Yeah, everyone always like comments on like whenever I give a 4.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd, everyone always comments like what's holding it back from a 5 out of 5. And Starro the Conqueror,
all the time.
all the time.
All the time.
But it is the villain of this movie that kind of holds it back for me. I didn't care about Starro the Conqueror. I never thought this movie was like about the villain. I think it was just about James Gunn taking these characters and just putting them in the spotlight and just letting them work with each other. And that aspect of it, I absolutely loved. There's so many great character moments in this movie. Even like that one scene with Taika Waititi where he's like talking about rats being like the lowliest creatures in the universe. Like that got me emotional. And then there's the one scene with Ratcatcher and King Shark where she's like, oh, would you eat a friend? Then would you be my friend? Like, I just think there are a lot of like cute emotional scenes in this movie that work really well. But it is a superhero comic book movie. So I do think if there's the villain's not there, it's just not going to work for a 5 out of 5 for me, which is the same reason why I give the first Guardians of the Galaxy 4.5 out of 5, because I just don't care about Ronan like at all. Like, I didn't think that movie was about the villain. It was about these group of characters like coming together and just working with each other. So yeah, are there any like spoilers we really want to touch on when we like talk about this movie? Because I feel like it's been out for so long. Obviously, everyone like has seen this movie. We know what we're walking into. Any particular scenes you guys want to bring up that you maybe really enjoyed?
Not spoilers, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say Seth already hit the main one. I think the escape scene to me is the best scene of the movie, the Harley Quinn escape scene.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, no, I don't agree.
The bird scene.
The best.
Good thing, yeah, of course. With that, like, and I don't know if it's not even that big of actors, but I think this cast is just so much better than the original Suicide Squad, in my opinion, at least. Like John Cena as Peacemaker, obviously you've gotten the show, so it's not all that fair because you have so much more like retroactively. But you have Margot Robbie and Joel Kinnaman, which are the two best parts of the original, in my opinion. I think I said Jai Courtney earlier, but he's probably top 3. But then like you just add Idris Elba, who I love, Daniela Melchior, who's just like James Gunn's best friend now because she's in everything.
I didn't know I thought her break was this year, like in Guardians and Fast X. I had no idea she was in this film.
Yeah,
no idea.
I think she's great in this. I think David Melton's obviously like awesome
She's
in
better
everything.
in this than she is in Fast X. I'll tell you that much.
Yes, obvious. I think that's pretty fair. And it's also on the point of like, I think James Gunn might be the only competent person in the world, or at least in terms of like MCU, where he's like, this can still be a funny movie, but also like Viola Davis's Amanda Waller. She's not going to be funny because she's not a funny character. Like, it feels like in the MCU, sometimes they get it where like, I don't even remember Thor: Love and Thunder all that well, but they're like, oh, Gore the God Butcher might crack a joke here and there, and I don't even remember if he does.
I think she was quite funny though at times. There was like a point where she's doing that talk.
Maybe I'm lost.
You got a weird sense of humor, bro.
Yeah.
She's doing that talk.
No, but that would be like Cam. Like that would be like Nick Fury is not a comedic character, but like the MCU has
crack
made
jokes
him.
every once in a while.
Yeah,
and then like, but it's like, and then like you don't. What if in the MCU just like everyone else is funny, but you don't have like Captain America make jokes because he doesn't, and it feels like he's kind of taken this 180 where like, and it's not a problem, but now the MCU's just kind of dropped to like everyone's making jokes. It doesn't matter who. Like James Gunn's it feels like the only competent person to be like 92% of this cast can make jokes, and then just don't have Amanda Waller do it. Don't have, I mean, Idris Elba has jokes here and there, like about dicks on the beach or whatever, whether that hits or not. But like, he's not like a funny character in this movie. He just like has this humor of just being dry. So that's a big point. And then I also want to mention, shout out Sean Gunn playing 2 characters in this. Everyone loves him for Rocket Raccoon's mocap. He's also the mocap for Weasel. And then also Calendar Man. So shout out him for getting that spot.
Again, I didn't know.
I feel like I'm always leaving these real quicks like early. This time we have a real reason, but I do have to hop out. I'm sorry, people.
All
but
right.
shout out Sean Gunn.
5 minutes or no?
Huh?
Can you leave your iPad on for like 5 minutes, or you got to dip? Just so you're.
I can leave
it's
it
okay.
on
I can fix the
minutes.
overlay. It's fine.
If you do,
you sure?
try and mute it.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap up in like 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay.
But one thing I was just gonna say is like everyone always like obviously this is all his time with James Gunn, like, oh, why is he casting his wife and things. I'm counting 8 people in this cast that are in Guardians. So it's like just because his wife, like there's literally 8 people that are in those movies. So it's like, I mean, I get it because it's his wife. People want to, but it's like he's just got his squad. Like he's like it's not just
like
his wife.
Listen, I'm obviously not comparing like James Gunn and his cast to like Wes Anderson or like Nolan and his casts, but like they all do it. They all just recast the same. Like obviously his wife is going to be like the forefront of that topic of conversation because it's like, oh, maybe she wouldn't be in these movies if she wasn't his wife. But it's like, who the fuck cares? Like, it's not like she's sitting there like acting terribly.
Right.
And like if she was a shitty actor, then I'd be like, okay. Like what did Francis Ford Coppola cast Sofia Coppola in? Godfather 3, and she was horrific in that movie. She was terrible in that movie.
Agreed.
Like that people should be up in arms. Like at least James Gunn's wife is competently acting.
Right. And like Sean Gunn wouldn't be in these movies if his mother didn't have another son. Like like if Sean Gunn was just some random actor, I doubt he'd be in these movies. Like it's just he's got his guys and it's good and it works out. It made a fun movie.
But at mocap, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think James Gunn has talked about it before. He's like, I know what they're gonna do, and I know how to direct them. So I'm just gonna keep them in a fucking mocap role where no one cares. I know no one gets up in arms about Sean Gunn, but again, that's probably a little bit misogynistic there. But who cares? Whatever. Just Jennifer Holland is fine.
She is fine.
Does a good job.
And she has like 3 lines in every movie she's in. Like she's never anything serious.
Yeah. Outside of Peacemaker, she's never been like a big character.
Post-credit scene of a movie he didn't even direct, and they were like, "You've ruined this franchise." Like what? Yeah.
All right. We'll wrap up our Guardians. Oh Jesus Christ. We'll wrap up the Suicide Squad. That was bad. My fault. We'll wrap up our Suicide Squad review there. Cam and I, a little higher. We go 4.5 out of 5. Seth and Tyler still enjoy the movie, just not as much as myself and Cam. They go a 3.5 out of 5. We will see you guys on Monday for ReelQuick episode no, not ReelQuick, our just regular ReelTok episode 39, I believe. So everyone, enjoy your weekend.
Happy Conjuring Friday.